Good evening and welcome to the September 16, 2024 meeting of the City of Tuscaloosa Planning and Zoning Commission. This meeting allows for alternative participation in order to accommodate all citizens. Any written comments written or sent to staff or forwarded to the commission directly. This time, I'd like to introduce our staff. We have Jimbo Woodson, Deputy City Attorney, Michael Garner, City Engineer, Zach Pons, Director of Planning, Haley Webb, Development Review Coordinator. There are 9 members of the Planning Commission, all who are appointed by the mayor for staggered terms, with the exception of the City Council representative, who is appointed by the City Council. I ask the commissioners to introduce themselves, starting with Ms. Hornsby.
Ann Hornsby, attorney.
Eddie Pugh, Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue, retired.
Stephen Rumsey, business owner.
Dina Prince, attorney.
Tim Harrison, general contractor.
Bill Wright, business owner, and Ben Stooley's coming to the stage now. There are sign-up sheets outside for public comment. 4 speakers are allowed to speak in favor of a petition, and 4 speakers are allowed to speak in opposition of a petition. All speakers will have a maximum of 5 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. Tonight's the procedures. The commission will take up items in the order of our final agenda. The commission will initially receive a presentation from staff as to the details of the agenda item. Additionally, we may hear certain matters involving the same property, such as an annexation and a zoning matter concurrently, although we will take separate votes on each matter of that property. After the staff presentation, we'll then call upon the petitioner to present their case. The petitioner will have a maximum of 10 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. At the conclusion of the petitioner's remarks, we will then call on any other party in order of sign up or otherwise who desires to support the petition, and thereafter we'll call in order those who signed up or in opposition to the petition. When it's your turn for comment, please introduce yourself, stating your name and address to the commission to provide your remarks. Any written comments have been included into the record. After receiving the remarks of those who oppose the petitioner will have the opportunity to respond to those objections. Any rebuttal will be limited to 2 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. If the petitioner presents any new information in response to the objections, we will allow those who oppose the opportunity to respond to the new information only. Any response will be limited to 2 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. During the course of this presentation, you may be interrupted by any member of the commission for clarification or additional information. Such interruptions will not reduce your time. Once the commission members are satisfied they have received all relevant information, we'll then close for further discussion by the public, at which time the commission members will discuss the matter and then vote. After the vote, you are free to leave. These proceedings are video recorded and broadcast live. All in-person public comments should be made at the podium into the microphone. Comments made by phone or virtually are video recorded through the conferencing application. Again, please state your name and address for the record. Jurisdiction. In all matters pertaining to subdivision regulations, approval of subdivisions within the city and its planning jurisdiction, and as to amendments, plan unit developments, and located outside the city limits, this commission serves as the final authority. As to matters pertaining to historic buffer zone construction, our decision is subject to appeal to the City Council. As to all remaining agenda matters, including original zonings, rezonings, plan unit developments within the city, and street vacation, this commission serves as a recommending body to the City Council. In that regard, our decisions are in the form of a recommendation to be presented to the City Council, and the City Council will make the final decision on those matters. Subdivision approval requires the affirmative vote of 6 members of the Planning Commission. All matters which are a recommendation to the City Council require a majority vote for an affirmative recommendation. At this time, I'd ask, do any members of the Commission have any conflicts of interest as to any agenda matters before us tonight? If so, please state for the record. Having heard none, I would ask the staff to confirm on the record that proper notice has been given to all parties and interests as required by law as to all matters before the commission tonight.
It has.
Okay. All righty. Folks, we do have our last minutes from the, that would have been the August 2024 meeting. We'll dispense with any reading of those. Synopsis, I request that we ask for a affirmative to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. With that, we will begin.
Good evening, Commission. We do have one case carried over from last month. That was the Cypress Creek PUD amendment, and the petitioner would like to withdraw that request, and they're here to make that request.
Good evening, Tom Sims, Longleaf Engineering, 1927 7th Street. On behalf of the petitioner, and as Ms. Haley said, the developer actually modified the request or modified what they were wanting to do, and so they no longer need this request for an amendment.
All right. Commission, we have for us P0423 Cypress Creek Cove, asking for a continuance. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
No, he wasn't.
He's withdrawing.
No, he
I'm
withdrawal.
sorry.
He was
Withdrawal,
withdrawal.
man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Withdrawal.
But we'll see it. We'll see it some way.
No, this one, he was asking for a revision to the PUD,
PUD.
correct?
Yep, so they
So
were,
he doesn't need the revision. The regular PUD can continue on just like it is.
That's
I think
right.
that's the one where the.
Right.
so they're withdrawing the request to amend their PUD approval. But we do have one case requesting to continue this evening. That is Z1324, and the petitioner is here to request that continuance.
Hello, Albert Gonzalez, 4 Crestline Drive, and we're requesting a continuance to provide us more time to revise the site plan with the comments that the city has provided.
Any comments or any questions? Thank you. Commissioner, for us, we have a continuous request for Z1324. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
All right, Commission, moving into our cases to be heard, we'll start with companion case A. This consists of a riverfront development case as well as a subdivision. Looking at RD 0224, this is Sports Illustrated Resorts, Tuscaloosa. Development 123 LLC is petitioning to construct a mixed-use development on the property located at 105 Rice Mine Road North. And this is in Council District 3. Here's a vicinity map. This is right off of Rice Mine Road, right near the loop. Also has frontage along Rice Mine Loop, going under the bridge. And here is that zoning map. This is zoned RD, adjacent to BH and R4 across the street, as well as some R1. Here's the site as it sits today. This is at that intersection. Today it's a 3-way intersection. And some more renderings of the existing site. The concept of this is a mixed-use development, including hotels, timeshares, and private condominium units. They're proposing 137 hotel keys, 250 timeshare units total, and 150 private condos available for sale. This will also include 3 single-story retail buildings, a central service building, as well as parking and outdoor amenities throughout. Looking at this, their enhancement, they're speaking by saying they are expanding the hotel, lodging, and attraction to the north side of the river, and they have an event space in a lawn-designated area that states that they'll be open to the public. They also are proposing to enhance our riverfront area by connecting the Randall Family Park trailhead all the way to Cypress Inn, as it shows on our master plan, and maintaining the tree canopy along Rice Mine Road. Here is a rendering of what that could and would look like. At this bottom of your screen, the south portion of your screen, that's where that 3-way intersection is today. They're proposing to make that a 4th, so there'll be a 4-way lit intersection. They're proposing to develop this in 2 phases. On the right side of your screen is phase 1 detailed. On the left side is phase 2. Phase 1 is consisting of the hotel as well as condo and timeshare units. They're also going to include retail space during phase 1, as well as those event lawns and fields. Then looking at phase 2, that is where they'll have 4 condo timeshare units, or 4 condo timeshare buildings. That will come later. And here are some of those renderings looking at the architectural detail of what is being proposed. So this is the hotel wing in phase 1. Bottom right, you see that main entry drop-off area. Again, a closer look at the hotel elevations. Using architectural concrete. And the condo timeshare elevations, all still part of phase 1. And some more renderings and views of the front entry, or the event lawn. And here are the floor layouts. Again, this is still phase 1, so now we're looking at the hotel condo timeshare floor plan. Level 2, top right, is more of a zoomed in look at the unit breakdown, the unit layout. And levels 3 through 5. And level 6. And then lastly, 7 through 9. This is a 9-story building, and the condos will only go up to 3 bedrooms total. And here is a look of the retail. So again, they're proposing 3 single-story retail buildings. Some more of those elevations. Continuing on. And again, here is the phased plan. On the right side will be phase 1, which were the buildings that we just looked at. Central Service Building will also be part of phase 1. Going back 1, that will be along here. And so here is the floor plan for that building, as well as the elevations. And then taking a look at phase 2, what could come. This is condo timeshare. This proposal does meet the requirements outlined in section 24-242, and we did hold a Riverfront Advisory Committee meeting. Overall, the Riverfront Advisory Committee, I quoted, liked the development, because that was said throughout. There were concerns over maintaining occupancy through the year with the hotel building as well as the residential portion. Several members emphasized the importance of connecting the proposed shared use path with the existing Randall Park trailhead, and it was emphasized heavily the importance of maintaining the natural streetscape, which will be that canopy along Rice Mine Road. And this is a companion case. There is a subdivision tied to this. There are 3 lots today. They would like to reconfigure into 2. So you can see along here, that is the proposed division. And they are requesting a variance from lot configuration, sidewalks along lot 1, and lot 1 is designated for that phase 2 of development, and they're also requesting a variance from half-street improvements. The petitioner did prepare a presentation, but we'll answer questions as staff.
Engineering on the variance request.
We're in support of those requests.
Thank you. Any questions for staff before we bring the petitioner?
Do you have a drawing showing where the Riverwalk is going to be, how they're going to connect it up with Randall Park? And then, you know, I know we talked about this when other developers were here, and I think that's why we waived the sidewalk requirement, because the Riverwalk was going to be, I think they were giving us 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Do you have where that's going to go?
Yeah. I'm happy to talk about that now, or I can let the petitioner explain that in their
that's fine.
presentation, and we can
Yeah.
come back to that as
Fine.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Petitioner.
Good evening. We'll be able to answer your question. My name is Kit Wilburn. I'm with Travel and Leisure, 6277 Sea Harbor Drive, Orlando, Florida. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Development, where I oversee new development projects and planned resort renovations. While Sports Illustrated Resorts is a new lifestyle brand, Travel and Leisure has a diverse portfolio of resorts, membership, and brand. Travel and Leisure provides more than 6 million vacations to travelers every year, with more than 200. It would help if I used the clicker. Sorry about that. Travel and Leisure provides more than 6 million vacations to travelers every year, with more than 270 resorts, 28,000 vacation ownership suites, with over 800 timeshare owners. We put the world on vacation. Travel and Leisure's vacation club brands include Club Wyndham, Worldmark, Accor Vacation Club, Margaritaville Vacation Club, and now Sports Illustrated Resorts. We're proposing to build a resort that includes condo residences, timeshare suites, a full-service hotel, and commercial retail. Since timeshare is new to the community, I'd like to take a moment to explain the uses and the benefits. What is timeshare? Timeshare is simply people purchasing an ownership interest in a piece of property over a recurring period of time. That interest, that real estate interest, is converted into points, and where owners can use their points within a portfolio of resorts. A timeshare association, similar to any HOA, is responsible for operating and maintaining the resort, where each owner is responsible to pay their fair share of the operation and maintenance of that resort. Something that's very important is the governing documents must adhere to all state regulations, and once filed, usage cannot be changed. So once it's timeshare, it will remain timeshare. Our chief sales and marketing officer coined the phrase, which is used around the company, imagine the possibilities. With Travel and Leisure's experience of over 50 years developing and managing resorts, with Tuscaloosa's and the University of Alabama's extensive sports history, and with 70 years of iconic Sports Illustrated content, we couldn't be more excited about imagining the possibilities of this flagship resort here in Tuscaloosa. Now I'd like to introduce you to Michael Hanley with Lamar Johnson Collaborative, who will walk you through our vision of the resort and design.
Hello, and thank you for having us tonight. My name is Michael Hanley with Lamar Johnson Collaborative. Address is 35 East Wacker in Chicago. 60601 is our zip code. I'm excited to talk to you tonight about the design of this project. We'll try to keep it at a high level. I'm sure there will be questions. But one of the things to start with, as the architect of this project, that we want to make sure is clear is that we do our homework about what a community is all about. And while it's arguable that this community is all about football, one would also argue that it's about a lot more than that. And I think one of the things that we like to do is make sure that we understand the sense of place, and to understand how the building that we're proposing sits and fits in with the sense of place here. And Tuscaloosa has a very strong sense of place and something that we would love to tap into. And if we've done our job, it makes it seem that the building that we've designed couldn't just be plopped down anywhere, that it is really designed specifically for this particular community in this particular place. One of the things we also make sure to do is understand the context. And when I say that, it means, like this slide implies, looking and understanding the architectural language that's being used, not just in the university, but the surrounding community. And not surprisingly, a lot of what we see is a lot of red brick and a lot of concrete, a lot of limestone. What is the contemporary sort of interpretation of that and how it could be applied to this project? Because at the end, we want to make sure that we're being respectful with the context, but at the same time interpreting it in a modern way, in a contemporary way. And so when we come to the site plan, the third thing that we want to do as architects and as collaborators with the owner is make sure that we're being as sensitive as possible with how we approach the site in the site plan. One of the very first things we learned about this site is how important the tree canopy is, how unique it is along Rice Mine Road when you're driving there and you understand just how sacrosanct that part of the site is. And so for that reason, we, I think, have been very intentional about how we have cited the entrances into the project so that not only it's intuitive to users in terms of how they navigate through the site, but also that it disrupts traffic as much as possible, or as least as possible, I guess is what I should say. And we have as part of our team here, Chris Crawford with TTL, who's a local civil engineer, and I'm sure he can talk ad nauseum about the traffic study that was done for this project and talk about the intent for disrupting traffic as little as possible. The other thing about this site is you'll notice that there's significant grade change, and not just the tree canopy, but the ravines that sort of bifurcate the site between phase 1 and phase 2. So the main building has been sited very intentionally to disrupt that as much as possible. And of course, one of the main goals with this project is to capitalize on views to the river. When we met a couple weeks ago with the advisory committee, one of the things that I think we heard was, well, if I'm not a timeshare member and I'm not a condo owner and I'm not staying in the hotel, like what is going to draw me to this project? And I think ownership, and we would argue that there are several things, not the least of which, of course, is the access to the river that would appeal to anybody that lives in the community, regardless of whether it's game day or if it's a day off season. So some of the images that you're seeing at the top are showing again what that retail experience might seem like. The event lawn, the event field adjacent to that, part of it is on ownership. So we can build whatever we want, but ownership has committed to programming that to draw people in. And how cool would it be if there were a tie-in to the arts festivals like the Druid City Art Festival or the I think it's called the Kentuck Arts Festival, right? Or live music events. And the intent is to be able to draw anyone in, regardless of whether that they're staying there. Certainly, anyone could come and stay and park it at the Sports Illustrated themed bar and restaurant that's going to be there. If you don't have a ticket on game day, the intent is that that's the place to be to watch. But again, I think one of the most important assets is the tie-in to the river. And here, if I go back one, you can see that there is a path that goes from Rice Mine Loop down to the river, and it's off the page here, but there's an easement, a continuous easement that goes all along the river and then back up to Rice Mine. As far as the materiality and how we take that slide that I showed earlier and apply it to, sports is an inherently sort of kinetic activity. And so one of the things that we've tried to do is explore how that energy can be translated into the architecture, introducing some movement with variegated balconies and materiality. But the most important thing we know is how you experience a building at a pedestrian scale. And so we also know that it's important to explore texture and shadow and the play of light and make it intuitive where the front door is and make it, again, complementary to the established vocabulary and the architecture that's in the community without completely aping it. And I want to end on the Central Services Building only because we fielded some questions about what this building is. It is basically where all of the back-of-house services are held or handled, I should say, on site, not just for Phase 1, for Phase 2 as well. This contains a 5,000 square foot laundry facility. It is where deliveries come, and it is where there's storage, both dry goods or refrigerated storage. It's also a workplace. There's an administrative office in this building. And so while we're trying to screen it as much as we can from Rice Mine Road, we also know that it still has to meet the requirements of the zoning code. And so what you're seeing is a combination of split face block, metal panel, and some concrete. So that is the central services building.
In the hotel, is it one restaurant? I saw the Sports Stadium. What's the capacity size?
I believe we're about 100 capacity in the restaurant. That does not include the bar that's also in the lobby, which is sort of a satellite bar, so that's additional seating. And that also does not include seating outside.
I may have, you probably said this, but, or I read it, but how many units are we talking?
Good question. For this phase, 137 keys, so 137 guest rooms. I think it's 76 timeshare units and 66 condo units. The total balance for Phase 1 and Phase 2, I think that's the part I don't remember. 200. Thank you. Did you hear, Kit?
No, I didn't.
250, thank you, 250 timeshares for the whole development.
Okay.
Did you have an
250
elevation from the
I'm sorry,
back?
250 total and 137 is the hotel?
That's right. You got
Did
it.
you have an elevation from the backside? So do you have balconies off the backside looking at
Yes,
the
we
river? or-
do. If I go, that's part of this deck if I go back, right? Sorry, I swear we're almost there.
So that's facing the river?
You got it.
So do all the units have a balcony or some of them don't?
Some of them do not. That's a good question. And part of the variation you're seeing has to do with what's behind the walls. So some of the floors have guest rooms on one side and condos on the other, depending on the floor. Those transition to vacation club when you're on the lower floor. So some of those units have a balcony in different locations. Some of the units, of course, are multi-bedroom versus one bedroom. And for the hotel guest rooms, only the suites have balconies.
What are your dimensions approximately on those balconies?
That is a good question. They are approximately 5'6" deep, I think, whatever it would take to make it fully accessible.
To do what, I'm sorry?
To make it accessible, yeah. 8 feet wide, I believe, is the dimension.
So in the travel and leisure world of your timeshares, I'm not sure if they're called fractional ownerships or timeshares, or when you purchase a timeshare, you're purchasing a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and that allows you access to the other travel and leisure properties across the system. Is that how it's going to work? And then I guess my other question is, I know in some of the timeshare world, you have tiers where certain properties are a higher tier than other properties. Correct? Or
Correct.
is how you operate?
You'll, like I mentioned, you purchase into an interest, and that interest is converted into points, and from a studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, requires more points.
Right.
So you can always acquire more points if you are, wanting to stay at Tuscaloosa. as your home base, or you can, our next resort that, should be announced sometime later this year. If that resort is pointed different, then you can acquire additional points to stay there.
So I guess my question is still the same. Is this going to be one of your top-tier properties within the travel and leisure world?
This will be our flagship property for Sports Illustrated Resorts.
So anybody that purchases here really has access to all lower properties around the entire travel and leisure system?
No, no.
Okay.
This will be a standalone club that if you purchase within Sports Illustrated, that's your club.
You'll have access to the other Sports Illustrated clubs as
Yes.
they develop.
Yes, you'll have access to the portfolio for Sports Illustrated.
So you can go to other ones?
You're buying the points at a certain level. I guess a three bedroom's going to give you higher point. You're buying more
Yes.
points for that. And so you might get 40,000 points. I'm throwing out a number.
Right.
And then if you want to go to other properties, they might be 40 or 35 or 30. You move around based on your.
Have we
point
ever
system.
done a timeshare before?
Kind of, yeah. Now, I guess the other question is, some are fractional ownerships where you're actually own a deeded property. Like if you bought.
The condominiums will be whole owners.
Right, but if
Yeah.
there's no deeded access or deeded property to a
No.
timeshare, okay,
No, it's all point-based.
all point based.
You said something early about the legality and that it's final. Did I hear you say that?
Yes, once you file the governing documents with the states that it's registered in, it has to maintain that, yes.
I know zero about timeshare, so it seems like the word final is tough. I mean, what if it's in disrepair or something? Legally, you can't, what would you, I mean, maybe 100 years, but if there's no remedy to be able to pull out of it if it became a slum, not that it would, I'm just saying.
And I'm sorry.
It just seems weird. I don't know that I've ever been associated with a property. I thought I heard him say that the way it's structured legally, that once it's a timeshare, it's that forever. Or there's no remedy to exit that. I mean, because, is that what I heard you say?
Correct, yes. Once a property is registered as a timeshare, it can't be changed. It is a timeshare forever.
So,
There may be mechanisms within the law that might allow that timeshare to be dissolved, but it would have to be done by an owner vote.
does that cause you any heartburn? Because it is at a very high-profile place. I mean,
Well, I guess my question would be, kind of playing on that, is if you purchase a timeshare at this property and you have annual assessments, correct?
Correct.
Is that those monies that people purchase at this facility, do those monies stay within this facility, or they go to a pool to be distributed to other properties?
Brian, can you help with that one?
It takes a
I
village.
mean, I'm just saying that
Well, you want,
you have no idea what we might ever need in the future, and if there's no remedy forever,
well, that's where I
no
was
matter
kinda
what
curious.
the price.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
curious about the monies that, do they stay in this property? Because every year they're gonna get an assessment for several $1,000s. And you would hope those dollars stay in this property so they can maintain it and keep it up.
Yeah, but
Hi, good evening, Brian Dixon. I work with Travel and Leisure, 1729 Turtle Cove Drive in Myrtle Beach. The question was whether or not the funds stay within the resort for future upkeep and maintenance. So each resort does stand alone, so there would not be funds going to, say, the next property, wherever that may be. So we collect operational fees for the daily operation. We also collect a reserve fee that would be for future repairs, maintenance, roofs, different structural things like that would need to be replaced. But the funds do stay within each property. And that is the way that our resorts are currently set up in the other travel and leisure resorts.
I have a timeshare, and I wish I didn't, sorry.
well.
I would love to be able, I would give it to somebody, just so I wouldn't have to pay the huge maintenance fee every year. But that's, the way that mine is set up, I buy a week. 52 weeks are in my unit. And by the time, if I try to stay up until midnight on January 1st to try to get a week that I want, I mean, I'm way behind. But anyway, so y'all don't sell a week. Y'all sell a certain number of points. And do you pay something like, I got a deed for mine, but like you have to pay a price when you buy it, and then you pay the maintenance fee every year. So do y'all do it that way, or do y'all just have points that you could use like with any resort in your portfolio?
I mean, it sounds somewhat similar to what you're getting at. We don't sell one certain week, like unit 101 during week 1 of every year. You purchase the interest, so you do have an initial payment, and then you would have a maintenance fee. It sounds like you're familiar with it, for a yearly basis that allows you to go ahead and use those points
Yeah.
at any of those resorts.
And then
that
you
are-
just either go online or call somebody and say, I want to go to X resort in X city on X date, and if it's available, that's what you get?
Yes, and it's very much so a currency in a way, right? Where it's just like calling any other hotel and saying, hey, I want to come the 1st to the 3rd, and, for whatever weekend it is.
If people buy a condo, they've got $1 million in it or whatever you're selling them for, 2 million or whatever. But if you're buying a timeshare, I'm assuming it's a fraction of
It's a
that.
discounted rate.
So, I mean, even if it's $1 million unit, then it might be, I don't know, $100,000 each or something.
So under the point system, you might stay in the 7th floor, and this time you come to Tuscaloosa, you might stay in the 3rd floor, the next
Yeah.
time, you don't have it your own.
Yeah, I guess
No,
what I'm saying,
you could stay in different areas of the resort,
if
yes.
you've got $1 million in a condo, you're gonna hang with it. But if you got $100,000 in a timeshare, you might walk. You could. I mean, I'm just saying, it's very. I'm just saying that's where if people quit paying because they don't care because all they had was 100 in it, and it starts going to heck in the handbasket, and there's no remedy to sell the property or do anything, and we're looking at a tenement.
So let me ask you, I think there was some confusion on our part when we asked the number of keys. My understanding, you got 137 key hotel rooms, correct?
Correct.
Hotels, and then you had, in this phase, how many condos?
66 condos.
66, and then how many timeshares?
76.
So there's only 76 timeshares.
That's correct.
So 66 condos will be for sale, 137 hotel rooms will be for rent, and then 76 of that portion of 76 is only timeshare.
That is correct.
I thought it said like 250.
Now, that's what, I think that's what we got confused.
That's phase 2.
That's, with phase 1 and phase 2, there will be 200.
So I guess,
planned, yes.
from our standpoint, your market analysis that you've done sees that Tuscaloosa can handle a 1/5 of these units overall being timeshare units, or 1/4 of these units being timeshare units.
That's
right?
correct.
So what, I guess, in market-wise, value, I know you probably hadn't set values, but what range are these? Do you know what range a timeshare would be in cost for a timeshare?
That's set by somebody else. Yeah. And we're working through the governing documents now.
And so, how many timeshare ownerships would be set up for 76 timeshares, approximately? I mean, I'm just trying to learn.
And the question, I'm sorry, was interest?
So you got 76 timeshare units. How many timeshare ownerships would be bought out of this 76 approximately? Is it 10? Is it 10 per unit? Is it 20 per unit?
So in
is that even
the way to
relevant?
kind of equate it, I understand the question and try to get, so the way to equate it is 76 units, 52 weeks, whatever that math works out to be. However, we don't sell timeshare in that old sense anymore, deeded weeks, so you convert that to a point schedule, if that answers that.
Makes no sense to me.
Makes no sense, okay.
I'm gonna move on. How about that?
Yeah.
You're buying a week's points, but you can use them however.
You can use them however. You
You're not
can
required to
stay-
use them in
If you want to come for
7-week blocks.
Yeah, if you have 100,000 points, for example, if you want to come for one night, that's fine. It'll cost you 5,000 points. If you want to stay for 14 nights, it's just, it's sort of a currency in a way.
Answer the question that I think the RAC had obviously forever we had no hotels in Tuscaloosa. Now we've got them everywhere, which is great. Got 137 rooms. I think one of the challenges we hear a lot from the hoteliers here is that midweek, off-season, it's not a big event. Because really, in reality, you know, the only time you're gonna get people for basketball games, you don't come and spend the night for a couple of days. Football season's really, you got 7 home games, let's say. What's kind of the plan to keep that thing occupied as best you can?
Yes.
Now, it's your investment, I get it, but I think everybody's kind of going, "God, more hotel rooms coming." I think that's everybody's starting to get a little concerned, you know.
Yep. So I mean, you've obviously got football season, you've got many of the other sports, parents' weekends, as I was driving around the campus today, beautiful area, I hadn't been here prior, but, you've got your parents' weekends, Greek weekends, all those different things. So we think that there'll be quite a bit that's going to pull in, as well as the Sports Illustrated name. Our timeshare owners use their properties. We are very highly occupied, higher than any other typical hotel room that is out there. If our owners want to come and there's additional demand, we may be able to use the hotel side for that. We also have prospective buyers for timeshare tours that we would typically use in the hotel. But we run a very, very high occupancy, certainly on our timeshare side, that would, I believe, absolutely translate to Sports Illustrated as well.
Where are
And
your
again-
other Sports Illustrated timeshares?
I'm sorry?
Are there other Sports Illustrated timeshares?
This will be our
currently?
flagship.
I'm sorry?
This is the first one. This will be our flagship.
Right, so there really isn't any other place for
No, so
timeshare owner to trade for, right?
not
Not another
yet.
place to use their points, only here.
Today, not yet, correct. We will be opening some
Not
additional.
one that we can go look at.
No, what I'm talking about is you get points, but there's no other place.
Another place, I mean, this is the only place you're going.
Right, I mean,
Well,
I
I
think
thought it
you've
was
got
in-
other networks.
I'm no Phi Beta Kappa, but I can't figure this out. That's their problem, yes, but
So there-
Well, it is in terms of its appeal to buyers.
It's,
Hey,
If you're buying into a network of resorts where you
That-
can
that's-
trade in and trade out and go other places.
that's the buyer's
That's one
issue,
thing.
not
If you
theirs.
can only use
Right.
it here, that's less appealing.
So the
this
big-
is the flagship, but he also said that they were going to announce another one sometime later on this year. So this
right,
is,
you did.
this is the beginning.
Correct.
so why does a timeshare have a legal structure that can never be sold or any remedy, no matter what happens? Because, I mean, it's like the Dollar General where they built the bridge over there next to the Coliseum. If someone wants to do something bad enough, there's a number, and it seems like to me that this, that'll be there forever. We gotta hope that those timeshare people keep paying, right? Of course, we can't cut on the radio with it. Oh, look, I don't know anything about your company, I just said you can't cut on the radio out here, and people say, I'll get you out of your timeshare, or you won't pay. I mean, they obviously have it makes me nervous, because you said we've done one, I don't remember. I know, when did we do one?
Not
That's
here.
been a
I
while
mean,
back.
I think the problem with that whole pitch is that a lot of people get sucked into going to some of these foreign countries and getting in timeshare worlds, and those are nightmares. I mean, I'm part of one here in the States, and it's run by Marriott, and very well run. I agree. I hate getting that bill every year too.
Or you've done one?
Yeah, so it doesn't, I mean, a good one run by a right company can really be a value.
How'd you get rid of it?
Yes.
It really is kind of painless, so, I mean, it's,
Well, Jimbo, do we have any regulations, any laws about this?
Yes.
Because, how people do bonds on certain times. As a city, we not regulate. What? We are regulators. Does it cause you any heartburn that your rule forever be? I don't know what the rule is for, it can't never be solved, that's it.
well, you can sell your,
No, I'm talking about. I'm
you can
talking
sell
about-
your week.
No, I'm
Yes.
talking about the whole complex.
Oh,
can
complex,
never
well.
Leave, it can never be bought or turned, it can't be bulldozed, it can't be anything. It's, whatever it is, it's dependent on those, how 250 people paying and keeping it up.
Well,
Because they're gone.
if you paid your person, like however many people buy into it, and let's say it's $50,000 to get your points, your week or whatever. I mean, it would seem to me that if somebody wanted to buy the property from Sports Illustrated, you could figure out a way to, your people, pay them what it's worth, present day value. Could you not do that? I mean, have y'all ever known any timeshare to be sold to another outfit and the timeshare points dissolved after payment to the timeshare owner?
It has been done through different companies. Whether or not it's been then redeeded as a completely different business, I'm not positive.
I'm not sure about that.
Can you answer a quick question, just so the public gets an understanding of what, I mean, a timeshare, whether it be a one-bedroom point system or two or three-bedroom, we're not talking $10,000 for a, it's probably going to be in what range for a, I'm not going to hold you to it, just give the public an idea.
Yeah, it'll all have a difference between how many points you buy and whatnot. You can buy a small package, a large
Right.
package. You know, it is not written for this resort yet, so please definitely don't hold me to it.
Historically, what would be a travel and leisure?
Yeah, probably 15 to, 35,000 somewhere as a.
As
but
an
that-
entry-level point
As an
system.
entry level, right.
But if you
And
start getting a
again,
two-bedroom and three-bedroom, you're going to be $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 potentially, right?
Yeah, potentially
And
not
that's
that.
okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
not that high.
My,
but yeah.
my point in asking
Yeah.
that question, comment is, nobody can just come in off the road and buy one of these things. You're going to do,
Oh, no, yeah.
it's going to be somebody that has the financial capabilities to understand
Yes,
what they're
and
buying.
And we
right?
do have credit qualifications.
Credit qualifications.
We have credit qualifications for that, and, we collect reserve fees for the constant upkeep of the property. We have owners in our system that have
Multiple.
6 months' worth of points, and they travel 6 months a year in our properties across the country. So you can buy, if you want to, and they're very happy.
But you just, wait,
You just hear a lot of things that people have uneasiness with there. This is a first for this market.
Sure.
And so there's some skepticism about
Yes, sir.
what this is as a product.
Yep.
But it's not new in a, I'm not speaking for you, but Travel and Leisure is not just your average company and neither is Sports Illustrated. No, I'm just saying it's not, I think I wouldn't worry about the place just dilapidating out and no one paying their fees. I just, because based on the
Yeah,
product type, I think historically, this is not a low-end, this is not Orlando.
Right.
This is,
Travel and Leisure has a significant investment in the property as well as our brand name in the community, and we do take that very seriously. We do have credit qualifications to come in and make those purchases. One of the most important things to our program is our reserve funds, where we do reserve to keep the property up to the standards of the community and our standards as well.
is Travel and Leisure a publicly traded company?
Travel and Leisure is publicly traded, T&L is the ticker, yes, sir.
So you said you were talking about, and this is back to the point I made or asked about earlier, which is people have enough points to spend 6 months traveling and they go to, but you're not going to spend 6 months here. Right? And there's no other place to trade out for at this point.
I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to,
Well,
but.
I understand that, but that seems unlikely.
I mean, at one resort, probably. We do have, and this isn't snowbird country, but in South Carolina, where I'm from, in South Florida, we do have people that stay for 3 months at a time.
Right, but I'm talking about this one.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. No, I understand.
no other
Probably
place to
not
go,
6 months,
right?
probably not.
So having 6 months worth of points, it's unlikely that people who come to football games are going to want to spend 6 months.
yeah,
Probably not.
That's what I wanted to ask. What's your, just my curiosity, what is your marketing strategy to get, I know you say you got some other point owners what's going to attract them to Tuscaloosa? What are you selling, just from my curiosity, from your marketing standpoint?
What are we,
Convincing them to come to Tuscaloosa, Alabama
oh, gotcha. Do you guys?
Well, just the university draw is very high. Our marketing strategy from a company is kind of yet to be rolled out, but we're hoping to announce one new resort a quarter for the next several years. So, I hope that we'll see, a good 12, 15 resorts within the next 3 to 5 years. So we'll have the ability to, just because someone is an Alabama fan, there's only so many home games. They'll be able to use their points and go to an Alabama game at some other location. It's the same for all the other places that we're looking at, that they'll be able to interchange and go and support their team and just, have a nice vacation.
Okay. And the only reason I said that is because I've been part of this timeshare as well, but normally you have a draw like Disney World, you have something that draws you with all year long. That's kind of where that question was.
I think Alabama football is Disney World to some people.
Oh, yeah.
That's point.
Okay, so
Point taken.
just
6
so I
months,
have
though.
this
For 6
straight,
months.
this is your first Sports Illustrated, but if I buy a timeshare in this development, I can go to Travel and Leisure's portfolio? Can I use my points there, or is it specifically just, like if my team is
So,
playing
our-
somewhere that,
So our club documents are not completed yet. We still have some time to put into those club documents, but let me talk real briefly about Club Wyndham or Worldmark or our other brands. And so if you buy into our other brands, you're able to exchange those points and go to other resorts. So we have other means to be able to accommodate you wherever you would like to go.
But not with this brand.
Our club documents are not done yet, so
I don't understand what that means.
Could you explain?
I mean, how that works.
So-
Right now, this is the only one you can use the points on.
Not necessarily. So the club documents have to get filed to create,
I am.
the club documents have to get filed to create the timeshare.
Right?
And once the points are created, if we find that there's a desire for an exchange system, there is an umbrella exchange system where an owner could put their points into that umbrella system, and then you could use your points at a different resort.
That doesn't currently exist.
It doesn't exist because our documents don't exist for this resort location yet.
And when those
And-
documents exist, will you be able to use those points at any brand of your resort system? Or is it different?
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility, yes.
I mean, I think it's gonna have to be a marketing decision from y'all standpoint. I mean, and how y'all do that is your deal, but I mean, I don't see anybody buying timeshare where they can just go to one community. So however you market that down the road, I think you gotta do that. The concern here, you got 27% of this development is timeshare. The rest of it is keys on a hotel, the rest of it's condominiums, and then that doesn't count the retail that you're trying to do, as well as the restaurant. I mean, I think they've got other means of functioning, but I don't see them sitting there with 76 timeshares and nobody's buying them because they're just can't come here but 6 weeks a year. I mean, y'all got to figure that out. How y'all do that, that's fine. I mean, for us is we've got to decide if this fits Tuscaloosa and it's going to be a long-term use for Tuscaloosa. And I think that's the concern of the commission.
Well, several years ago, this was discussed for the city council.
We did this
Yes.
somewhat similar
And-
with the alum.
If I remember right, the plan at that time was to start here in Tuscaloosa and build several of these. And when you start looking at the SEC's added Oklahoma and Texas, and you look at the students at the university, over 40-something thousand students, where their mother and daddies are in California, they're gonna buy timeshares or something to where they come here so many weeks a year. I like the idea. I mean, I think it's gonna work, but it's gonna involve building more, and I think that's their plan, but they can't tell us that.
And we are highly motivated to sell the timeshare units and the timeshare interest, because with the maintenance fee as the developer, for the units that are not sold, for the interests that are not sold, we have to carry that maintenance fee and contribute that maintenance fee. So we are highly motivated to get those interests sold, and we are aligned to get that money coming into the community.
So when will you have your documents? Or you mentioned you didn't have your documents, but since you don't do these, this is the first, that causes me a little bit of heartburn, but I've heard Sports Illustrated, I've heard Travel and who y'all work with, or who exactly y'all?
So we're with Travel and Leisure, and Travel and Leisure is basically an umbrella company. And Sports Illustrated, we have the licensing rights through Authentic Brand Group to license Sports Illustrated resorts.
So you got the $2.93 billion market cap back to Travel and Leisure?
Yes.
Can we move, or just to move on a little bit from the timeshare, I'm sort of curious about the sort of, I listened to the hearing with the riverfront development folks, and their concern about midweek occupancy, off-week occupancy. I mean, I don't think, granted, it is your marketing and your investment and all that, but none of us want a hotel that is empty. I mean, 250 units that sit dark and empty.
And you're talking about the hotel or the condo?
I'm talking about the hotel and the condos. I mean, I just don't know if they're gonna stay occupied or if all they're gonna do is poach from
Well,
other.
that one around the
Places.
condo is pretty, it stays pretty busy.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The one around the end a little bit, it stays pretty busy. I do that.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
I do that about every day. So you'll set up and you're gonna set about, what did you say, about 200, you got 73 these times. What percentage did you say?
27%.
All right, well, I was gonna ask you about the building materials. Could you get them to comment on exterior?
I didn't.
I'm saying, you know what they're saying. You and
Yeah,
Council.
can you get a comment on the exterior material? Building material? I think you,
Comment on exterior building
I
materials.
think, were you talking about similar to university standards?
Oh, sure. So, you know, tumbled brick is basically what we're talking about doing now. This construction is tilt up, so it's brick cast in concrete. There will be some exposed parts of concrete that will be painted, and then metal accents, you know, aluminum storefront windows on the first floor. But yeah, brick is basically, by and large, the main material.
Any limestone?
Say what?
Limestone or you said limestone? Just concrete?
Oh, limestone, yes, that's a good question. There might be like a limestone parapet. We're still in detailing mode,
Okay,
so that's a good
that's
question.
fine, that's fine.
Any other more questions for the petitioners?
What's the timeline on phase two? You gonna get this one up and running, see how it goes, and then move to phase two,
So right now, our timeline for phase one is we would like to be breaking ground in Q1 of 2025 and be open before Q1 of 2027. For phase two, obviously, we still have a lot of work to do on phase two, but I'm hoping that we would break ground on phase two before we open phase one. But there's still, we still have a lot of work to do before that happens.
Any other questions?
And y'all need this approval before you formulate your governing documents then, right? I mean,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
that gives me a little, I mean, it seems like a lot of information and regulation and is going to be contained in those governing documents. And I mean, I know they'll be this thick, and I sure don't want to read them, but we've got this wonderful city attorney right here who reviews all of that and lets us know if they're in conformity. I don't doubt that y'all are reputable and that you can get this done. I don't doubt that at all. It's just that, I mean, if I was a part of this other timeshare, I don't remember it. So this is my maiden voyage with this type thing. And, you know, I'm like Stephen, I pass by there at least twice every single day because my office is right down the street from that. So I would love to see something put on that property. It's been empty for too long. And I know there are lots and lots of good things that would come out of this development for the city. And not just the city, but for the whole state and surrounding states if people, you know, come here to stay. So But I guess I'm just, you know, it's sort of a stab in the dark for me without knowing, you know, what the entire setup would be, but.
Without the documents being finished and start talking about the points, it just makes me a little nervous. If this was like the fifth one, you know, this is the first one. And they're not really sure about any and everything. I still hung up a little bit about, of course, we'll be dead and gone. It'll be somebody else's problem, but it could be somebody else's problem. Things do happen. And what I don't understand is why is there a law that doesn't allow timeshare to be sold in any form whatsoever under any circumstance? That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I'm sure they put it in place for a reason. Maybe somebody wanted to buy a whole place and somebody didn't want to sell, and so they made it where you could never sell. I mean,
Jimbo, real quickly, the governing documents, will the city staff have any governance over those documents, or is it a state issue? The timeshare is a state level? Historically is.
Timeshare is a state regulated.
Okay, that's what I was.
It's a highly regulated industry, and the timeshare documents have to be filed in any jurisdiction where the timeshare is either created or sold.
Do you get approval from that state agency?
Yes,
So you have to submit these documents for approval?
you have to submit them, yes, for registration, yes. And the reason that the timeshare can't be dissolved is at a certain point, and this is statutory, it's the regulation that tells us to do this, but when the documents are created and the timeshare association is created, there's a certain point where the timeshare gets turned over to the owners. So it is actually owned by the owners, and that's why it can't ever be dissolved. And that, there may be mechanisms within the law that allow a timeshare to be dissolved, but it would have to be by owner vote. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's
That's
either
okay.
two-thirds
That doesn't
vote
bother
or 100% vote even.
When you said final, I thought in those circumstances, it'd be fine with me if they voted, if they're legally able to. I just, any of y'all know about that?
And you'll have annual meetings,
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
there are
Okay.
annual meetings.
Of this property's ownership.
Correct.
Okay.
So, question, when you did your market study and you came up with this concept of proportion of condos versus proportion hotel versus proportion of timeshare, how did you zone in on that number in Tuscaloosa, Alabama? I mean, am I asking a question that any of you can answer? I mean, is it, the need, is this based on y'all's past performances across?
It is. It's based on past performance. The hotel was basically done with the market study. Same with the condos. A timeshare is really historical data.
What if, hypothetical here, you sold the condos with ease and timeshares were struggling, could you convert the timeshares to the condo market? What happens, how would that, if that could be done, how would that be done?
You would have to have the appropriate owner vote to make any changes under
Of the timeshare
documents.
owners?
Right,
Okay. Of the
Condo-
76?
right.
Condo and timeshare papers do not intermingle, they're two separate.
Whichever association is being looked at. So the condo ownership, they could vote to make changes within their condominium. The timeshare owners could vote to make changes within their timeshare association.
One more question. The hotel, there was discussions about having dark rooms during the week and things. Are there meeting rooms or conference rooms or anything in the hotel to where you could have some kind of event there?
So we looked at having some meeting space, some conference space. We talked to several people within the city and the Economic Development District, and there was no interest with any kind of partnership on putting in a large conference space. So what we've done, if you look at the event lawn to the plan east of the hotel, we have, planned for a future expansion, if we so choose so, to get approval, to put what would be approximately a 10,000 square foot convention meeting space in. So we left ourselves an opening there.
Just not a lot of meeting rooms in Tuscaloosa, I don't think, in my opinion. I'm not, River Market and Bryant
Yeah.
Conference Center, and
Yeah.
I don't know where else. Looks like that'd be a great, something for the future.
And last question for me. We didn't talk about the retail. I know it may be early, but you have any prospective retail clients that are in talks
We've had
with
several
you?
people reach out. I think that the retail space will be heavily food and beverage
Food and
oriented. There obviously could be some other parties that go in there, but yes. Right now, we have just over 18,000 square feet of commercial retail. And, we will be starting on looking at those opportunities very shortly.
Okay.
So those 3 buildings are about 6,000 square feet
That's
per
correct.
building? And right now it's 6,000 empty shell, right? You could, somebody could take all 6, or you might bust it up into 4s or 3s or whatever market, or whatever the customer
Correct.
wants. Okay.
Gotcha, okay. All right, thank you.
Any more questions for petitioner? Thank you. Let's, anyone,
Q1 of next year, Q1 2025.
any last questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How you doing? Matthew Wilson, 1012 42nd Avenue, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35401. Good afternoon to all of you. I've come tonight to say to you that I've met with the petitioners concerning this development. I believe that this will be a game changer for our city, for the district. It has a lot of potential to bring forth growth and development. I know that the details of the documents have to be worked out, and I would hope that this body would look at that with wholehearted intentionality so that we can bring something that will be great for our city. Thank you.
Very much. Do we have a sign-up sheets?
Nobody signed up.
Okay, no one has signed up to speak for or against. Would anyone care to speak for or against? If so, please come forward. Okay, having heard none, I guess we'll close to the public and have a conversation, or if it makes any points, then we'll take a vote. So anyone have any comments from this board? I think I agree with Councilman Wilson. I think this is obviously a first of, and I mean, the brands that are coming to this market, I think everybody's well aware of their stature in sports, and obviously the Travel and Leisure as a brand and an entity is very well respected. So I agree with the councilman. I think it's could be a very good project for the area.
I think that we've heard some skepticism on different points, but I think a lot of it is about the business model rather than the project itself. And I don't know that we can see into that model well enough to make a decision based on it. And otherwise, I think, as you said, it appears to be well thought out, even though they haven't completed the documents. And I think it can be a good it can be a good success. And if not, it's not going to harm anything right now. So yeah, and that space has been empty way too long. So we need something on it.
And I will say also, I commend them on the building materials, the choice of building materials.
Yes.
That's commendable on your part. I think it's going to be befitting to Tuscaloosa and your goals that you set forth. So I appreciate you for that.
And I think it says something that we haven't heard concerns from the community about.
Correct.
You know.
And I would like to say that our main concern tonight, I know for me, is the design, the building materials, and its location, and the fact that a lot of the community has not shown up with any of those concerns. That makes me feel a little bit better. There are a lot of unknowns with the timeshare. I didn't know that we did that in Tuscaloosa, but nonetheless, this won't be its first time coming before me. So I hope that before you come before the council, that you have a few more details and information to share about the timeshare. But for me, on what we have to make a decision on tonight, I feel confident in it. And, this is something new and different. And I would also like to say, to echo Mr. Pugh, an event space is very much so needed and would be nice, just hint.
What I've seen about the project, I will test it's a quality project from a building standpoint, building material standpoint. I think the developer has put their foot forward in trying to make it a quality project. I think would be a great thing to have Sports Illustrated fly in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, be the first one. Maybe this thing will take off and will be the flagship once again.
Yeah, I think the name Sports Illustrated, that, it's not like Bill Wright and Eddie Pugh's fixing to build something. I think you got somebody building something you can stand for. It's, and I can see it coming here in Tuscaloosa and then going to Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, different places. And you buy a timeshare here in Tuscaloosa, and Alabama plays in Texas, Oklahoma. You just move your points out there, and this just looks like the beginning of something that's going to take off and go.
Any additional comments from the commission? If not, let's take some votes. All right, commission, before us, and our first vote is RD 0224, the Sports Illustrated Resorts Tuscaloosa. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Second is subdivision 6524, Sports Illustrated Resorts, with 3 variance requests. Engineering has no issues with it. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
So moved.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved. Welcome to Tuscaloosa. One more vote ahead of you, though. City Council, thank you.
There you go.
Y'all are free to leave unless you want to hang out and watch the wheels turn.
I'll wait just one moment.
They're pretty quiet, Mr. Webb. Let's go on. Let's go.
All right, let's keep going. Companion case B consists of a PUD and a PUD subdivision. This is P0524, the Gates of Emerald's Edge. This is a planned unit development consisting of 12 single-family residential lots and 1 open space lot on approximately 32 acres located north and west of Lewis Spur and bordering Lake Tuscaloosa. This is in Council District 3. Here's the vicinity map and an aerial overview. You may be familiar with this property already. This was part of the larger Emerald's Edge master plan, which is a large single-family residential development up and around the lake. Here is that master plan that you all have seen and approved. The area circled are the lots that we'll be looking at for this PUD request. Again, 12 single-family residential lots. They're proposing to access from a privately maintained right-of-way, or they're proposing to make the street private. They would like to add a gate, and they'll have a public access code for emergency vehicles, mail service, and delivery services. The single-family lots are ranging from 1.2 to 4.7 acres, with the average home size being 8,000 square feet. With the home and property, they're estimating the price points to be between $2 and $4 million total. And here is that plat with and without contours. The density isn't changing from the overall master plan that was approved here. This is solely to do the public road. Private road, to make the public road private. And then this is the proposed gate. And here are some architectural styles of what those homes could and would look like. This does conform to framework. This is designated as lakeside living, which speaks to irregularly shaped lots due to the topography up and around the lake. And here's that future land use map. And then quickly going through the subdivision, again, that plat with contours and without. and they're requesting variances from they're requesting to put in ribbon curb in lieu of standard curb and gutter, and they're also requesting a cap sewer variance.
Engineering on the variance request.
We have no objections.
Petitioner.
Commissioner, I'm Robert Martin with Duncan Coker Associates. These 12 lots are actually a part of Phase 1 currently, the Phase 1 approved master plan. The only change that we're proposing to make is to install a gated access for these 12 lots, which would require us to make it a planned unit development with private streets. So the roadways will be privately maintained. We'll have public utility easements for the utilities. The lot configuration, roadway configuration is not changing. The only thing we're proposing is to install the gated access.
Robert, what am I looking at on lot 74G, that square that's blocked out there?
That's an existing lot line that'll be removed.
Okay, and the same thing with the 75 right up there above it?
Yes, sir.
You say these were timeshare, timeshare units?
This is as far away from the timeshare as we can get.
Did y'all have to make a little modification there where that entrance to that gate is? It looks like it's kind of
Yeah,
bumped
so
out there.
what we did there is that's a miniature
Turnaround.
cul-de-sac so that a normal sized
Yeah.
car or truck can turn around. Obviously, emergency vehicles will have a code to get through the gate and turn around. So that's just a way for everyday Joe to be able to turn around if they can't get through the gate.
So let me ask you, I mean, not to beat this thing up, but like if delivery vehicles, UPS, FedEx,
It'll be big enough for them to turn around.
but like if they're gonna get in, they got a delivery in that neighborhood, how they get in? Got a buzz in or something?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to have a public access code for UPS and FedEx and trash company mail.
Well, I was just thinking about that turnaround. I was like, okay, well, if a fire truck or the garbage truck's going, they're gonna have the code to get in. So they're
Right.
not gonna worry about turning around at that gate. But a larger box truck have an issue.
Oh, yeah. If they
Yeah,
can't get in.
If they can't get in, if it's, yeah, if it's,
We'll look at that turning radius and make sure it's big
I'd
enough
make sure
for
it's big
a
enough
moving
for-
truck, style truck.
yeah, a 2-minute truck type truck, probably.
Otherwise you're gonna stuck there.
Yeah,
Block
gotta
it.
back out.
Right.
Any other questions for petitioner? Yes, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Having heard none. Commissioner, before us, we have P0524, the Gates of Emerald's Edge. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion approved?
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, motion approved. Commissioner, before us, we have PS 6324, the Gates of Emerald Edge, 2 variance request. Engineering has some issues with. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, Commission, next we have Companion Case C. This consists of a PUD and a subdivision as well. We'll begin with P0624. This is the terrace at Skyland Park. This is a planned unit development consisting of 26 single-family residential lots and 1 open space lot on approximately 10.2 acres located at 91 53rd Street East, south of the existing Skyland Park subdivision. This is in Council District 7. Here's that vicinity map. And here is an aerial overview of the site. Again, this is for 26 single-family residential lots, putting their density at 2.5 dwelling units per acre. This PUD was before you all in October of 2022. It was approved unanimously and went through and got full approval at council. However, their approval has expired, so that's why they're before you again. The homes will feature brick, hardy board, stone, and vinyl. 2-bedroom homes will start at around 800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1,100 square feet, and 4 bedrooms starting at 1,400 square feet, looking at the price point of high $100,000 to the low $200,000. And here is a copy of that plat with contours and without. Again, 26 single-family lots. This is going in as an R1 PUD. Here are some renderings of existing homes throughout the city that they would like to use as their model here. And then this does conform to Framework. Framework identified this as suburban residential, which is primarily single-family residential lots. And here's that future land use map. Going through that subdivision quickly, here again is that plat with contours and without. And they're requesting to put valley gutter in lieu of standard curb, and they're also requesting a variance from sidewalks. And there are not currently any sidewalks in this area, so I think we're okay
So
with that.
engineering,
No objections.
so just for the record, nothing has changed from what we approved in 2022.
That's correct. That's our understanding as well.
These are the same variances.
That's
Everything-
right.
Everything, not one thing has changed.
Nope.
Okay. Petitioner.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Brock Corder, 1307 25th Avenue. Happy to answer any questions that you have, but I do want to confirm on the record, no changes from the approval from third quarter of 2022.
Any questions for petitioner?
Wouldn't it be nice to have sidewalks?
It would be if they were tied into sidewalks on either side, but they're not going to go anywhere.
They can go see their neighbors, ride their bicycles.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, good.
If I may be remedial just for a moment, I just want to make sure concerning the building materials, the designs, are the market value, there's no change, correct?
No change, correct.
They look good.
Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we did have someone sign up.
Mr. Chairman, had one person wanted to speak in opposition, Mr. James Williams.
James Williams, 5228 First Court, Tuscaloosa, 35405. Good evening. I'm here to speak against this because we're talking about the traffic and the dangers of that traffic and so much traffic coming through. That's a safety issue. Also, when it comes to these homes being built, you wouldn't want, I don't think any of us would want a $50,000, $150,000 home built next to a $300,000 home. These homes are in conjunction with the homes that are already there. I've been there since 1972, 72, 73. Others have been there as long as I have. And that have been a dead-end street for many years. It was just 4 hours there, my family and I. We had 3 children there. And I never wanted to go anyplace else for that reason. To have those houses built and those type houses in that area is not in conjunction with those that are already there. So I was speaking against it because I know the traffic, what it's gonna be like, that many houses built in that small area. And also, I'm hearing some said District 2, and some saying District 7. So the letter that we got says District 7. But then I'm told it's District 2. So can y'all confirm me what district it is?
It's District 7.
7? Why is it District 7 and it's joining my property and I'm in District 2?
I think it's just a matter, and I'll let Mr. Pond speak, but Reverend Williams, I think it's just a matter of how the properties are conjoined within the neighborhood. So like I'm 2 streets or 3 streets away from where District 7 starts. So it's kind of like the same way they have to meet up some type of way.
Okay, we're not so much concerned about the district we're in, but I'm most concerned about the traffic the safety, and those type of houses being built. It's nothing like, excuse me, it's nothing like those houses that are already there. And so we that live in that area are against those houses being built.
First court.
Any questions?
Any questions for? Thank you, sir.
I do. Reverend Williams, I vaguely remember, well, not vaguely, but I do remember the conversations that we had about 2 years ago. There was a large contingency of my neighbors, mainly, I think it was a lot of people from District 2 that showed up because of how the traffic is going to flow and where the property lies. So, you know, it affects you. So we were all concerned all the way down 51st Street, all the way around to First Court, which is your street. So we were, and I think it was some people from First Avenue. We were all concerned about this development, and we spoke before the meeting, and then we had questions during the meeting. And I think after that meeting, everyone was pretty much so satisfied. We had got all of our questions answered. And I don't see any of those residents here tonight, so I guess the contingency of everyone, the majority of them are still, you know, pretty much satisfied with this development. And we even talked about the traffic count. So I wanted to know, has anything changed with this project that you feel like you, because we were in favor of it 2 years ago.
No, I heard that, but that was not true. I've never been in favor of those houses being built.
Okay.
But when it comes to those houses being built, I've always been against those houses being built because of the type of house they are and the area that they're putting them. Now, there's another resident here that is in support of not building those houses. Maybe she didn't sign up, but we talked, and she'll let me know that surely she don't want the house built also. I know there's some time when people come together, they get something started. Some people won't come back and support. They want to see things done, but they want to be the one to get it done. I'm one that believe in whatever I believe in, get up and do something about it. Because you can talk all you want, but if you don't get something done, there's nothing will happen.
Pastor Williams, is one of these houses I'm looking at, you said you live on First Court?
Yes.
Is one of these houses on this map yours? Like,
can't see it on the map there, but
I mean, I kind of understand.
It's in the upper, yeah. When you come down First Court,
Yeah.
the property's to the left.
Okay.
At the very end.
come on 52nd Street. It's a dead-end street, 2 houses on that street, well, 2 on each side of the street. And then when they go on, where the property is, it's all woods now.
Right.
But when the residents
It's the
here,
same deal we approved, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
she's sitting right behind her, Jordan, her property, and of course, that's the difference.
I'm kind of with the councilwoman here that, you know, that obviously these cars are going to come by your house.
It's gonna come right from.
No question about it. But we're also in a situation where we approved it before, and we talk a lot about it here in Tuscaloosa, how we need affordable housing. We need housing across this city. In this area, something's going to happen here one day. It seems like you got a local builder who's building just 26 houses. And you're going to have, remember correctly, they can connect on to 55th Street East as well, correct? So
53rd.
53rd. So they can loop around, and they're not all going to come by your house. So you're talking about 26 houses and maybe, say, 2 cars, 50 cars total, 52 cars total, let's say. And we've approved before. I mean, a lot of people don't want to have things in their backyard. I get it. They don't want more traffic by their house. I get it. But I think as a net overall, this still is a good development and a good project. I don't see what's dramatically changed that would affect us in our decision tonight. I mean, I hear you.
And we did hear that the building materials and
Yeah.
standards.
Everything is
look
the
good,
same.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Question earlier.
it was approved unanimously last time,
Right.
so.
So there is that.
Yep. I mean, so.
Well, that was my 2 main reasons. The traffic dangers of it, and also for the types.
Is there an HOA party? Is there a homeowners association for Skyland Park?
We have It's a homeowner association.
I guess I'll have a question from the developer here at some point. Maybe would this development be part of that? But I'd like to have, if there is an HOA for this Skyland Park, it seems like
I'm not aware of an HOA for Skyland Park, but we will have an HOA for our subdivision.
that's going to provide a level of protection,
Correct.
at least for those 26 houses. Now, how that impacts Skyland Park to be seen.
Matter of fact, we're meeting tonight at McDonald Hughes Center, but being the president, I came here instead of, this meeting was more important than going to that one.
Okay. All right, any other questions for the petitioner, or the, Mr. Pastor Williams here? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Corder, I don't know if you care to, I mean, we had one person who signed up to speak. Ma'am, you want to come forward and, again, state your name and address for the record, please?
Good evening. My name is Sandra Horn. I reside at 5248 First Avenue. The proposed development is directly behind my house. So when I walk out of my house on my patio, I've got to look at a house possibly 800 square feet, which is much smaller than my home. And you're talking about a 2-bedroom that's got 2 or 3 people. I don't understand how that's enough space for that many people to actually live and move. Reverend Williams already talked about the traffic. Our post office mail is already very late. It's like dark when the mail arrives at our house. And so the building materials, my house is completely brick. We have garages that go up and down, and I think in this day and time, you probably need a garage that go up and down. So as Reverend Williams stated, I'm against this project as well. Like I said, these houses are directly behind my house, and it's just not conducive to the houses that are in my circle. I live in a cul-de-sac, and folks do run through there all the time, just wheeling. They don't know where they're going, and if you're gonna put all these houses there one street over, it's gonna be horrendous to get in and out of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else care to have a comment on this? Name and address for the record, please.
I'm Jermaine Williams. I live at 5228 First Court. The president of the first man that spoke about my father. I stood and yes, we think that it's a bad thing for the development to happen, but I believe that if people are coming, but since people are coming to Tuscaloosa, there is a place to stay. And since there is a place to stay, and I believe that's a good place for them to stay, then let them go ahead and live there. But give them a place that's conducive or a place that is nice for them to stay, I think, because I know Tuscaloosa is a great city to live in, and over there where I live, it's a nice place to stay. So I am for Tuscaloosa building those houses, the type houses that you all show. I believe they are nice. And I just believe that it's an asset. It will be an asset to Tuscaloosa. So I believe that it's a good place to live, move into. That's Jermaine 101. I believe it's an asset to Tuscaloosa. I say if I had anything to do with it, I say build the houses. If we have to find out some kind of way to quiet down the noise, or we just have to live with the noise or whatever. But yes, I remember when I was there, we was young and everybody was young and carefree. But now everybody that was getting old. Some people are dying out, but I still say build the houses, Tuscaloosa City. Build the houses. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else care to speak for or against? Having heard none, Mr. Corder, do you have any desire to make any closing?
Just real briefly, I did want to point out that some of the homes along 53rd Street East are very comparable in size to what we're proposing. Also pulled a few brief comps today. We're well in line with pricing in the neighborhood. So actually going to be a little bit more expensive per square foot. So property value shouldn't be an issue.
Mr. Corder, one of the questions, bordering up against the existing neighbors, I can understand their concern. What are y'all going to do?
Yes, sir. I believe if I understood the lady correctly, she lives in the cul-de-sac on First Avenue. We have a decent amount of grade change there. It's about 15 feet, which is going to provide some buffer. It's going to provide about a 45-foot buffer.
So you're 15 feet lower than she is?
I'm not sure exactly which lot she is, but at the max point, it's about 15 feet.
She's on the corner.
Do you know which lot yours was, ma'am?
She's right here on the corner.
She backs up 11 and 12.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, we'll be.
We got it.
We got it.
Okay, it varies on that lot particularly, but we'll be probably 45 feet from the property line anyway in that area, and there is some grade change as well.
Looks like you got some vegetation back there. You gonna try to maintain some of that?
Yeah, we'll try to maintain every bit that we can, absolutely.
And Mr. Corder, you said there will be a homeowners association.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so we don't have an active homeowners association in our park. In our neighborhood is, the neighborhood that we're discussing is Skyland Park, Dixie Manor, and Sutton Place. So we don't have one, but we do have a strong neighborhood organization. But the fact that it has a HOA that is going to be mandatory at the time of the purchase, that makes me feel even better. And then, as you said, on 51st Street, or anyway, the price points do vary in range throughout the neighborhood. So it's not that much different from what you're planning to build. And I do want to remind the committee that it was unanimously recommended here as well as on the council in 2022.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I don't think anything else was brought up new. You ask him a question? I think, you can talk to him after the meeting and he can answer your question. So, Commission, before us, we have, anyone else care making comments or before we take the votes? All right. Commission, before us, we have P0624, the Terrace at Skyland Park, again, which we have approved at this body level and the City Council, unanimous approval on all, no changes, for the record. No changes have been made to this petition. Do I have a motion and a second? Say again? No. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion approved.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved. Commission, before us, we have PS 6424, the Terrace at Skyland Park with 2 variance requests. Engineering has no issues with. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
We have one downtown riverfront overlay district case this evening. It's DROD 0324. Lauren Blackwood petitions to modify the exterior facade of the building located at 2012 8th Street. This is zoned BGO in the DROD, and it's in Council District 4. Here's the vicinity map where we are. We are right downtown, same block face as Turbo Coffee, Greasy Hands Barbershop, facing 8th. The unit that we'll be looking at is the corner, which you can see from 8th or Almond. So here's an elevation of the building as it sits today.
Can you draw a line on that property just so everybody knows what we're talking about? There we go. Thank you.
This is to update the facade, update the facade, what you can see from the street. They are providing code-compliant windows and doors. They're updating what you see. The reason that it's before you all is because they are requesting to paint previously unpainted brick. So they will be proposing to paint that white. And here is what that would look like. So again, they're enhancing the windows. They're adding in new doors. They're painting the exterior, which is a large noticeable difference. They're also showing a new metal awning. Now, the awning that you see, as well as the landscaping shown in right-of-way, does need to gain a right-of-way use permit. That'll be handled through City Council. But this is their intent. And then from the side, this is looking at the building with Almond behind you. This is the proposed rendering. So the tenant will not occupy the entirety of the space. They're showing how that lease will break up. So they're painting to about where their lease line is, as well as putting some hardy board trim to show that breakup. Architectural Review Committee found that overall this does meet the standards and guidelines laid out in our DROD section. And again, touching on that right-of-way use permit. Do you have any questions for staff?
Got a question, but I think I'll wait to hear from the petitioner.
Now, I didn't touch on what the intended use is. This is to renovate it for a salon. The use of the salon is a special exception at the Zoning Board of Adjustment, so they are on the agenda for next Monday night as well.
Any questions for staff? Petitioner.
Hey, good evening, members of the commission. My name is Chandler Overcash with Caldwell Architects. My address is 1490 North Bank Parkway, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 35406. The architect representing Lauren Blackwood here tonight.
One of our conversations in our pre-meeting was on the western facing there.
Yep.
I see you've added the hardy board as the break between the different colors. No reason we couldn't get the whole thing painted?
Well, the tenant suite only extends to that point.
Okay.
The building owner actually owns the majority of the rest of the block, and so that's actually kind of real estate for his business. So to paint that would kind of take over his portion of building. I'm not disagreeing with you. It is a piece of trim board on the side of the building.
How wide is that going to be? Just out of curiosity.
6 or 8 inches. My preference would actually be to do that about 3 feet off the face of the building, right about where the fence line changes. That way the existing fence line, which will remain, and there's actually some barbed wire and some big trees, let that be more of a hidden transition.
That would actually be better.
Okay.
It would be.
Probably still we can just cut the paint, we can trim it out, if there was a slope, I would have put a gutter, but there's not a slope.
Yeah, I agree.
Is this the rear of the building?
That's the east
This
facing,
is side.
west
It's
facing.
it's the left side of our building, and it's a whole parking lot away from that right-of-way.
Bring that picture back up of the fenced-in area. That's it right there. So you can see the window through that gate.
About 3 feet back, I think, is where that fence, or
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I agreed with an architect. I hope that wasn't on tape.
You have your mic on.
Vince must be rubbing off on me.
All right, so I think between our architect and our builder and this architect, you're representing the petitioner, y'all are in agreement on that?
I think we agree.
All right, fair enough. That was the only thing I think that we even talked about. I think it's a great improvement to the area. I think that facade needs to be updated. I really like the parking the city put in there for you and all the sidewalk work they did. That was kind of nice, though. Wish we could get more of that done around the city, but we'll cross that bridge later, we might. Any questions for petitioner?
Looks good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think we all agree it looks good. Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request?
Okay.
Having heard none. Commissioner, before us, we have DROD 0324, Lauren Blackwood petitions to modify the exterior facade of building located at 2012 8th Street. ARC approves and agrees with the improvements. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, time for our preliminary plats. We'll start with S6624. This is Dakota Vista. This is consisting of 5 residential lots and 3 satellite septic lots on approximately 14.18 acres located at 10619 Sexton Bend Road. This is not in city limits. Here is that vicinity map. We're up near Emerald's Edge where we were looking at just a little bit ago. Again, off of Sexton Bend Road. Today it is 1 lot. They're proposing to create 5 residential lots and then 3 satellite lots. Here's that plat with contours and without. And then just to get reoriented, we did do a counterclockwise turn. So how we're looking at the lot, it's not running north to south anymore. So Sexton Bend is now running north to south on the left. But anyhow, they are requesting variances from cap sewer, lot configuration, and drainage study.
Engineering.
No objections.
Thank you. Petitioner.
Legs are asleep. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Chris Centel Engineering. Great job. Thank you for that. The satellite lots, if you remember, there were Holman Point had come before you at the beginning of the year with the 3 lots. Those belong to the Holman Point subdivision, and they were pre-existing. We want to make them permanent with this subdivision. So, and the lot configuration for 4 and 5 is due to the existing guest house that he built on top of the satellite lots, unknowing, by the way, it wasn't intentional. So, and then the main house was on lot 5. The intention was that he wants to sell 3 lots along Sexton Bend Road.
Any questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Those are, correct me if I'm wrong, the satellite lots are really for the lots to the
The
south.
satellite lots are only for lots associated in Holman Point.
And
And there's
what this-
pre-existing access easements and utility easements that are already in place.
When the final plat is recorded on this, the owner of the Holman lots will sign as owner of the satellite
Yeah,
lot.
we're going to get a representative from the Holman Family Trust, that LLC, that's that portion.
Right.
How big are those lots you're making? The 3 lots?
They're over an acre.
Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Having heard none. Commission, before us, we have S6624 Dakota Vista. 3 variance request. Engineering is in agreement with. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Hornsby?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion approved.
All right, next up, we have S6724. This is a resurvey of lots 280 through 282 of Monticello Estates Number 2. It's consisting of 1 lot on approximately 3.19 acres located at and around 13004 Bear Creek Road. This is not in city limits. We are near the intersection of Raintree Drive and Bear Creek Road, taking 3 existing lots and consolidating them into one. Here's that plat with contours, and without, the hashed lines represent the lot lines to be removed, creating 1 lot total. They're requesting variances from cap sewer as well as sidewalks.
Engineering.
No objections.
Petitioner.
Robert McPherson, private practice land surveyor, 4121 Vassy Drive. Mr. Barnett owns these 3 lots, and him and his brother bought them back 20 years ago with the intention to put mobile homes on it at the time, but at that time, the HOA kept them from it. But his intention now is to combine the 3 lots and put a barndominium on it.
Plan. Sounds like a good plan.
Any questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against? Having heard none, Commission before us, we have S 6724, resurvey of lots 2A through 282, Monticello Estate Number 2. 2 variance requests, no engineering issues. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Mr. Rumsey.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
Only because it's a barn.
All right, next we have S 6824. This is a resurvey of Lot 1A of a resurvey of Lot 1 of Bear Creek Estate Number 2. This is consisting of 2 lots on approximately 3.08 acres located at 13166 Bear Creek Road. This is not in city limits. We're not too far from where we just were. It is 1 lot today. They're requesting to parcel out a second. Here's the plat with contours and without. So that existing metal building, they're wanting to put onto their own lot. You can see it right here. And they're requesting a variance from cap sewer as well as sidewalks.
Engineering.
No objections.
Petitioner.
Robert McPherson, private practice land surveyor, 4121 Vassy Drive. Mr. Vale and his wife wish their daughter to have this lot 2R, and she will eventually have it all, but right now, until I guess their age takes them to a point where they need to give it all to her, that's what their plan is.
So,
Interesting.
which one? I'm sorry, 2R?
2R. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is she planning on leaving the metal building there, or is she going to?
They've already reconfigured it for
To build a house.
living quarters already. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yes. She actually lives there now, but
Okay.
she's a traveling nurse, and that's what they chose to do anyway.
Very interesting. All right. Any more questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against? Having heard none, Commission before us, we have S 6824, resurvey of lot 1A of resurvey of lot 1 of Bear Creek Estate Number 2. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion. Second.
Ms. Hornsby.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, last case of the night is S 6924. This is Star Petroleum subdivision. It's consisting of 2 lots on approximately 3.31 acres located at 8113 Old Marion Road. This is not in city limits. So we are off of Bear Creek Road. We're right at the intersection of Old Marion and Bear Creek Road. It's 1 lot today. Here's a plat with contours and without. They're proposing to go from 1 to 2. Lot 1 has an existing gas station on it, and Lot 2 will be the remainder of a mobile home park. They're requesting variances from cap sewer and sidewalks.
Engineering.
No objections.
Godfather of Bear Creek Road, Mr. Pearson. You've been busy, haven't you, down there?
Robert McPherson here. Private practice land surveyor, 4121 Vassy Drive. Mr. Farmer, the gentleman who currently runs the store wishes to purchase the store. And the whole process is to separate that for him. And the balance of the land belongs to Mr. Farmer, which is basically a trailer park, but that's it.
Very simple. Thank you, sir. Anyone care to speak for or against? Having heard none, Commissioner for S 6924 Star Petroleum Subdivision. Engineering has no issues with the variance request. Do I have a motion and a second?
Mr. Chairman, because Mr. McPherson smiled,
Yes, sir.
a motion.
Have a second. Need a second.
Second.
All right, Mr. Rumsey.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
Thank you. Y'all have a great evening.
Do the same. I have a little bit of fun every now and then, don't we?
All right, and then really quick, we'll see you all next Wednesday at 5 PM for another special called
This
framework
Wednesday?
meeting. Next Wednesday. Is that the 25th? 28th. So we'll see you all on the 28th and
And our final vote is the 30th.
October 30th.
I saw
That's
that,
right.
Right.
All right, is that it? Staff, meeting adjourned.
Halloween.